Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So in this video, I will teach you how you can create the best resume for yourself for absolutely free. So please watch this video till the very end because throughout the video, I'll be sharing some insane tricks and tips that you will not find anywhere else. And I'm probably the only YouTuber that is telling you to not share this video with your friends. Okay, use it for yourself first. So let's get started. Now let's start with a very common question that a lot of you have is how long the resume should be. Now as a fresher, you should have a single page resume, okay? Nothing more than that. So there are four base rules that you need to keep in mind while creating an effective resume, okay? So only PDF, no colors, no images, and no fancy text. Because all the ATS systems, whether they use AI or not, they are not reading your images or the colors. Okay, they are only extracting the text out of your resume. Okay, so by not adding images and colors, you make it easy for the ATS systems to read your resume. And resumes which are clean and crisp always look professional. So now since you understand how a professional looking resume template looks like, the question is from where do we get this template for free? I personally use Overleaf, but you can also use Canva and any other free tool that lets you create your resume. Always remember, never pay for resume, okay? There are plenty of free materials on the internet that lets you create these clean looking resumes for absolutely free. I will put links of some of the good resumes in the description section. So once you have identified the right template for you, the question is how many sections should we have and which sections should we have in our resume? So you only need 5 sections that I'm going to tell you right now. Okay. Section number one is the header. Okay. So it is the thing that you see on the top of each resume. So in this section, you need to mention four basic things, that is your name, obviously, your mobile number, your email address, and your location. There are two more optional things that you can mention is LinkedIn and GitHub. Now, why these two are optional is because only add them if you update them. If your LinkedIn is absolutely blank and you never update it, do not mention it. Similar for GitHub, if your GitHub looks like this, don't add it. If it looks like this, add it. Now, a little pro tip here is never mention your email address simply like this. Always add the mail to prefix like this. What this does is it creates your email address as a hyperlink. Okay, so whenever the recruiter clicks on that, it directly opens their email client. So once you are done with this section, let's move to the second section, that is the introduction line. Now for the introduction section, you need to create a one liner or max to max two liner that clearly defines what you do and what are your strengths. Okay, and you can easily create this line using AI. Now, why this section is important is because you need to understand that recruiters are overworked. Recruiters receive hundreds, if not thousands, of applications every day through different channels. Okay, so you do not have that much time to scan your entire resume. Okay, so this section helps us identify what we do. Okay, and what we are good at, so that the moment the recruiter opens your resume, he or she can tell that, hey, this guy is a full stack developer or this guy is a backend engineer. Okay, so this line is very, very important. So once you are done with these two sections, let's move to the section number three, which is a very important section, that is the skills section. And this is where most students do blunder. Okay, so let me tell you the number one mistake that they do. Okay, they mention all the languages and all the tools and technologies they have learned throughout their course. Okay, and obviously they are not good in each one of them, right? So let's say you are doing BTech. Okay, so in BTech they teach you Java, C, C++, Python, C sharp, or other languages. Okay, so they mention all of them. Now the downside to this is, let's say your main language was Java. Okay, but you mentioned all the other languages as well. Now you do not know what the interviewer is capable of. Okay, so let's say the interviewer was good in C sharp. Okay, but you are not that good. Okay, so he will read your resume and say, hey, this guy know C sharp. So I also know C sharp. Let me ask him questions around C sharp. Okay. And when he will not be able to answer those questions, he will think that either you are not good or you are simply lying. Now let's take another example. Let's say you only mention Java and nothing else. And again, the interviewer knows C sharp. Okay. So he will read your resume and go like, hey, this guy knows Java. I don't know Java. So what I'm going to ask him, let me ask him some generic things like oops. Okay. So this is how you downgrade the level of questions in an interview. Okay. Now, why do I keep talking about interview in a resume video? Because the job of this video is not just a resume, is to help you land a job using that resume. Okay, so by following this tip, you can guide your interview as per your strengths. Okay, because remember, in those 30 minutes, 40 minutes, your job is to prove the other person that you are the absolute best in the thing that they're hiring for. Okay, so always try to narrow down the amount of things that the person can ask you. Okay, never make it an open field and let him ask whatever he wants. Okay, so now as we are done with this section, let's move to section number 4, which is the most important section of your resume, that is your projects or internships. Okay, now a lot of people ask is how many projects should we list? I would say 2 to maximum 3 projects is more than enough. Okay, so nothing more than that, and only those projects which are your best projects and you absolutely know each and every detail about that project, even if it's a group project and you have only worked on a specific part. Okay, just be honest, never ever copy your friends projects. Okay, because as someone who has taken thousands of interviews, let me tell you something, that it is very easy to catch a liar. Okay, because your interviewer has taken interviews of probably hundreds of students. Okay, so it is very easy to catch if someone is lying or not. Okay, so only mention those projects which you have built yourself. So this will again help you guide the interview as per your strengths and let him ask the questions about your projects. Now, what if you have zero projects? So for that, let me give you a hack that you will not find anywhere on YouTube. Okay, pick your favorite framework or your favorite language or favorite tool. Let's say it's Java. Okay, go to YouTube, type in end-to-end Java projects. Okay, I'm absolutely sure you will find many end-to-end tutorials. Okay, follow them completely, honestly, end to end, and create that project. Okay, I promise you it will not take you more than a few hours. Okay, but once you are done, you will be able to add that project in your resume, and since you built it yourself following that video, you will be able to answer the questions. Now that recruiter or that company does not care whether you build that project during your college curriculum or through YouTube. In fact, if you tell them that you learned this technology through YouTube, they will be impressed because it will show that you have a learning mindset and you can do things on your own without relying on others. Now, since we are talking about college projects, let me tell you the biggest mistake that a lot of students make while creating projects. Okay, and that is they pick very huge and complex projects such as XYZ management system. Okay, that could be like fee management, library management. Okay, all sorts of these management systems. Please, for God's sake, stop creating them. Why? Because the source code of these projects are already there on the internet and everybody knows that these projects are already created. Moreover, these type of projects are extremely difficult to complete in 2 to 3 months, especially as a fresher. And even if you manage to complete these projects, even then the complexity is so high that it's like a rabbit hole. Okay, so you cannot imagine the amount of questions the interviewer can ask you when you tell him that you have built a fee management system. Okay, he can talk about front end, back end, database, APIs. Okay, so you're opening the entire ecosystem of a software development lifecycle in front of him. Okay, and again you are expanding the playing field, so now the interviewer can ask you anything he wants, which is not what you want. So the pro tip here is to not play with these gigantic projects. Focus on smaller, more smarter projects which follow latest technologies. I will try to link some of those project ideas in the description section. Now, since we are done with this, let's talk about the final section, that is education or certifications if you have any. Now, if you're doing BTech, you can mention BTech, 12th, and 10th, but make sure you mention them in the order of newest to oldest. Okay. So, your most recent qualification was on the top. Now, over here, a lot of people have this question that should we mention our marks or grades? Now, if your grades or marks are above 90%, okay, they are in the highest bracket, you can mention it. But if it is anything lower, do not mention it. Now, let me talk about another huge mistake that a lot of people make, and that is the hobbies section. And they put absolutely garbage hobbies in that section, such as playing cricket, cooking, and something else. Because remember, at the end of the day, the company is there to hire a professional. They're not there to hire a chef. They do not care how many runs you scored in your last cricket tournament or how well you cook the white sauce pasta. Instead, if you really, really want to mention hobbies, then there is a smarter way to do that. For example, you can mention something like you like organizing hackathons. Okay. Now, why is this effective? Because when you organize something, it shows that you have organizing skills. Okay. When you organize something, you talk to different people. That means you're good with people. And when you talk to people, that also shows you have good communication. Okay. So by just mentioning this one hobby, you are highlighting three of your strengths. Okay. So this is an example of a good hobby. So I will try to create a good list of effective hobbies and put them in the description section that you can use. It is not compulsory to use those hobbies, but make sure whatever hobby you put, it should highlight some of your strengths. So now, my friend, at the end of this video, you have the complete knowledge of how you can create your resume as a fresher. If you want, you can keep coming back to this video and listen to different sections, what I've told you, and create your resume. One more tip here is never create a different resume for different company. Okay, that is a total waste of time. I promise, if you follow this video completely and create a resume for you, that will be the best possible resume for you, and you need to use that resume for every company. But still, if you have any more questions, put them in the comment section. I will try to answer them as fast as I can. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and to watch more such content. And if you want to learn DevOps as a fresher, do check out our channel DevOps Studio and subscribe right now. So I will see you in the next one.